Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the tabernacle of David, the old four elect, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. It is a terrible story that happened out of Detroit, the Detroit area, where you had a elderly Jake. He was rewarded 100 racks, after he had did a good deed. And this YouTuber who I guess he disguised himself as a blind man, who happened to be, by the way, when the Jake saw him, and out of the kindness of his heart, he pulled out some money and, gave to him. And what the Jake didn't realize was he was actually on film, and this was actual YouTuber. And what the YouTuber does is he reward good deeds, by giving them money or, certain rewards. Which the scriptures say, when you give alms, let not your right hand know what your left hand do. That way the Most High will reward you in secret. So what Jake thought he was doing was a good deed, but ended up catching traction because that particular deed ended up going viral. So everybody in the neighborhood, all those grimy, low-level, slimy Negroes, a bunch of crabs in a bucket, they all saw and witnessed, this old Jake, getting rewarded. So, to Jake in the hood, they see that, they licking their chops. Oh, this old guy, he's food. We definitely finna go and get that. And that's literally what transpired. All right, he ended up getting kidnapped after he was seen winning 100,000. So, our people, they ain't, I mean, what do you expect, right? The scriptures tell you about our people, man. They overpass the deeds of the wicked. The scriptures say that, my people, they're wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. So this is why you can't trust nah nigga. You can't even trust your own family. I'm pretty sure he probably had his own family that was plotting on him. So terrible story, but this is the news segment. This is Fox 2 Detroit. I'm gonna just play the news segment and then we're gonna come right back. Our people, this is why they gotta get erased.
Well, tonight on The Edge, a feel-good story turns real ugly after a Detroit man is gifted $100,000 from a famous YouTuber.
The Detroit man claimed that he was kidnapped and nearly killed. It's a story Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack has been following it and joins us now live with an update. Jessica, take us through this because there are some layers.
Yeah, for the last week or so, we've been working to connect these stories. The first one, as you mentioned, surrounds a guy named Curtis Dixon, a 60-year-old from here in Detroit. He did a good deed. A famous YouTuber gave him $100,000. Then about a week and a half later, another story you saw on Fox 2. He is connected to that. Curtis, allegedly the victim of a pretty unbelievable crime spree.
My life just changed overnight.
1 minute, 60-year-old Curtis Dixon was receiving $100,000 for a good deed.
We need more people like Curtis in this world.
A week and a half later, last Monday, witnesses say Dixon was hogtied in his burned-out SUV on Detroit's east side.
I woke up, I'm like, what's going on?
He survived. Sources say there are some inconsistencies in Dixon's story, but he claims he met someone in the area of Mount Elliott in Nevada. From there, he was kidnapped, driven to ATMs to pull out money, then beaten, tied up, and his car set ablaze.
Everybody basically knew who he was. They made sure to get his face. He was a walking lick at that point. If had that been me, and I was seen on a public level receiving that kind of money, I'm getting the hell up out of the hood. I'm leaving. I'm getting far the freak away, man. Because you definitely are, you're a target. All right. So that that was the mistake that the older Jake made, being around. But when you come into that kind of money, that you these niggas out here, man, they're desperate. And the scriptures tell you that the love of money is the root of all evil. So there's nothing that people won't do to get it. People have that covetous eye. All right. Matter of fact, let me grab a quick script. Let's go to Proverbs, the 28th chapter. This is verse 'Here it is. Proverbs 28 and 22. It says, "He that hasteth to be rich have an evil eye." It's going to be covetous. You're gonna yearn, you're gonna desire to come into possessions that don't belong to you. That you'll be willing to do anything to attain it. So you'll go and rob. You'll go steal. You'll take a hired contract to go and take somebody out. They call it blood money. When somebody put a bag on somebody, put a bag on their head, a bounty. So niggas will take bounties because they believe that, they're going to somehow get rich quick or come into a wad of money very quickly, and that's how it works. That's how it happens amongst our people. It says, "And consider not that poverty shall come upon them." Yeah, because ultimately, once it comes back to you, if you don't get put to death in retaliation, it's going to catch up with you. You're going to end up getting caught by the law, and then it's going to go on your record. You're going to end up doing time, and when you get out, ain't nobody going to want to hire you, so you can't get no job. What are you finna do? You're going to fall right into poverty. But niggas do it to themselves all the time, trying to make that fast money. And of course, these young N-dubs, they fall in love with these types. The niggas that like to get quick money, through scheming or hitting licks, robbing people. So our people they're all screwed up, man. And that's why 2/3 of them ain't gonna make it out of here. All right. But let's get back to it.
Several days into this investigation, the feds picked up the case from Detroit police. The ATF now investigating this as a possible arson, kidnapping, and extortion.
And hopefully they catch whoever did it to him, because we don't want that in our neighborhood.
Last month, Dixon.
Let me get real quick. The law on kidnapping. Exodus 21. So whoever was that damn covetous, he committed all type of sin. He committed covetousness. He coveted. All right, and he stole, and he also kidnapped. Exodus 21:16, it says, "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall be surely be put to death." And that's dealing with a kidnapper. Yeah, Exodus 21:16, it says, "Kidnappers must be put to death, whether they are caught in possession of their victims or have already sold them as slaves." But fortunate for the Jake, he got away, and he survived. But you know, they was definitely trying to get him up out of there so they can, you know, walk away with his possessions. So Jake is wicked, and you wonder why judgment comes down. You wonder why, you know, Jake is under these curses. You wonder why Jake gets shot down by these Centurions. The Most High, he's done up with Jake. You know, so when these niggas get got, hey, we hearken to what he told Jeremiah. Don't lift up a cry nor a prayer for these people. You know, this man was trying to do a good deed. You know, which you know, he's you know, he's older. He's set in his ways. You know, you see a so-called white man sitting out there, because I think that YouTuber, he looked like a Edomite, but you never know. But the scriptures tell us when you do good, know who you do it to. You know. Let me grab that as well. You know, you give to the godly and don't help a sinner. And almsgiving is a secret thing. Nobody should really, you know about that. Sirach 12. Yeah, Sirach 12 and 1, it says, when thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doeth it. So shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, and if not from him, yet from the Most High. And that's what ultimately what, you know, the older Jake, you know, did. You know, he didn't know whether he was a godly man or not, but he just saw a guy that, you know, he was disabled. You know, he was playing blind, and out of compassion, he was like, here. All right, it says, there can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. But this Jake, he received evil. But that wasn't, you know, see, the evil came from wicked niggas. The guy that he did that to ended up rewarding him. It says, give to the godly man and help not a sinner. And that's why niggas, you know, you don't give them a damn thing. You know, because all they're going to do is overmaster you or get over on you, or try to use you. You know, they'll try to use you, and then if he have no need of you, he gonna depart. He gonna leave. So you got to be careful, you know. But let's finish up.
Was gifted $100,000 from MD Motivator. He's a famous YouTuber who rewards good deeds with dollars. MD Motivator posing as a blind man in need in this viral video.
I'll have a couple bucks when I come out here. I'm going to find my wedding ring, man, but I just shut up yesterday, man. But I'll have
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple bucks.
Thank you, man. Bless you.
Dixon offering what little money he had to help.
Even in my neighborhood, people know me now. People that didn't know me now.
And that could be
So that just what he said, man. That tell you something. That deed, it pretty much put a scope on him. And it wasn't about the good deed, it was about what he received for that good deed. That's what put eyes on him. This dude came into 100 racks. There are people, they ain't shit, man. Let me get a couple. Because you already know what, you know, Jake's mentality, especially in the hood. You already know how their mentality is. Let's go to Proverbs 1, and we're gonna start at the 10th verse. It is Proverbs 1 and 10. It says, my child, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. Like if you got some friends or you got some acquaintances or people that you know, and they plotting to do some wicked, you know, indulge in some type of wicked, ungodly behavior. Don't let them seduce you. Hey man, you know hey man, dude just got 100,000. I mean, we can come up on 100 racks. You know what we could do with that? and we can take it and we can flip it and then we can, you know, nah, turn your back on them. It says they may say, come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone. Just for fun. Let's ambush the innocent. You know, that's Jake all day. That's hood activity right there. That's the mentality. Let's swallow them alive, like the grave. Let's swallow them whole, like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of great things we'll get. So, you know, it's already in your mind, the material possession, you know, the material gain. After you, you know, hit this lick, after you rob the guy and, you know, pistol whip him or whatever you do, humiliate him, intimidate him. And some niggas are so wicked, they'll just kill you. They'll take your life and then go. And I remember there was an incident where Jake, he was being robbed at gunpoint, and he was saying, hey, man, get it. And they still shot him, still killed him. Then you had, not too long ago, a Jake sitting in his car. He was streaming live. He had on a chain or whatever, sitting in his car. Jake had no awareness. He was just caught slipping, no circumspection. And he ended up getting robbed on camera. He tried to hop out. You're going to try to fight a guy that got a gun, a loaded gun pointed at you. And he ended up getting killed. I believe this was in Chicago. It wasn't worth it. You know, the scriptures tell you to, you know, make no fault. You know, when you in a way with a man that have the power to kill, don't make no fault. And that was Jake's problem. So this is going into the mentality of a evil, covetous, ungodly person, right? It says, come throw in your lot with us. We'll all share the loot. Basically, if you come and do this deed with us, hey, you'll get your share. You know, like on Set It Off. You know, you get a cut, you get a cut. Nah, TT, nah, you didn't do shit. So you ain't getting a cut. You know? That's how it be. It says, my child, don't go alone with them. Stay far away from their paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. But these people set an ambush for themselves. They are trying to get themselves killed. Yeah. Because ultimately it always comes back to you. Whether it's, you know, retaliatory or whether the Lord gets you. You don't escape. It says, such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. All right. And let's go from there to Micah 7th chapter. And I'm pretty sure that would have happened in any major city where you know, grimy, slimy niggas is at. You know, that same thing would have happened in fucking New Orleans, Memphis, Chicago, Philly, Baltimore, LA, you know. It would have been the same thing. Now all of a sudden Blue Letter is timed out. That's how you know that's the prince of the power of the air. All right, well, I'll just go back to the art Bible. Let's go to Micah. Yeah, this is Micah 7 and verse. Hold up. It's a lot. It might be the wrong chapter. Hold up. Well, let me do this then. Let me just go to this one. Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 5 and 26, and it says, "For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait, as he that set up snares, they set a trap, they catch men." Right? And that older Jake, he got caught. He met somebody and he ended up falling into their trap. Got hogtied, got beat up, got his truck burned down. It says, "As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become great and waxen rich, but not for long. They are waxing fat, they shine, yet they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause of the fatherless, yet they prosper. And the right of the needy do they not judge. Shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this?" And Jake, that's why Jacob's trouble is around the corner. Our people, they ain't about nothing, man. This thing's still tripping. But yeah, man, this was it was a horrible situation, and they could have, Jay could have lost his life. So this is why Jake gets treated inhumanely, because Jake, they don't have any respect amongst each other. And that's that curse, that evil eye. Thine eye shall be evil towards thy brother.
Part of the problem, more money, more problems, as they say. Now, I want to know what MD Motivator has to say about all this. He has millions and millions of followers, 7 million on Instagram alone. We did reach out and did not hear back in time for this story. So as we said, the ATF, the feds.
And it would be, he'd be putting a even bigger target on his back if he started a GoFundMe, or somebody started a GoFundMe for him, to recover his proceeds, the money that he lost. If he got that back plus some, more niggas would be waiting in the tuck for him. It's just how it is. And the scriptures say, I believe it's in Sirach, the 14th chapter. It says that a covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion, and it drive up his soul. I mean, it pretty much shrivels his soul. He'll do just about anything. All morality, all integrity out of the window. And a lot of people, they perish over mammon. Let's get that in all right, let's go to 1 Timothy. Oops. We're gonna go to 1 Timothy 6th chapter. 1 Timothy 6, and I'll start at 8. It says, "And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content." Jake is never content with just food and raiment. They blinded by capitalism and materialism. It says, "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, and it's going to come with a lot of trouble. You know, she said it, quoting the notorious Big. More money, more problems, man. So that's what happens on this side. So it's best to just, you know, be content in somewhere in the middle. You know, you're not rich and you're not, you know, below the poverty line. You got food, you got raiment, you have a shelter. That's all you need to serve the Lord from day to day. All right. And the scripture says, store up not your treasure, you know, on earth where, you know, moth doeth corrupt and a thief can break in and steal. You'd rather store up your treasure, which is in heaven. So, you know, you learn from these type of situations, but it's a reason why when you come into money, you got to get the hell away from niggas, man. Get out of the hood and get away from Jake, even your family. Because everybody going to be trying to plot. Everybody's going to feel entitled. So, yeah, it was an unfortunate situation here, man. But anyway, let's finish this out and then we'll close it.
Now taking over this investigation, I'm told by the end of the week we should hear more from them. We'll continue to follow this one. Reporting live in Detroit, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
And as I follow this story, it seems that the missing pieces here that those feds will have to piece together is exactly what happened relative to those inconsistencies in the story. Any more you can tell me about that?
Well, we do know there's some video that police were able to use that placed at least Curtis, or what appeared to be Curtis, at some of these ATMs, possibly against his will. And if you remember, too, there were witnesses that say he was tied up in this SUV and that they rescued him. So there are some parts of this story that are definitely true. It's just a matter of placing it all together. Sometimes, though, these unbelievable stories, they end up panning out. So we will see.
Of course, they often do, and we'll be watching this one really closely. I know you have your eyes on it. Jessica Dupnack.
All right, so hey, with that, I'm going to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. To the next one, Shalom.